Every financial decision begins with trust. We trust institutions to protect our assets, technology to secure our information, and the people around us to act in good faith. But sometimes, trust becomes the very thing that criminals exploit. Emma Brooks had spent years building a successful business. Careful planning, disciplined investments, and strong professional relationships had given her confidence that her financial future was secure. When she received a call asking her to visit the bank, she expected a routine conversation. Nothing about that morning suggested her life was about to change. The meeting began like any other. A quiet office, a familiar face, and a simple financial statement placed gently across the desk. At first, Emma assumed there had been a clerical error. Then she looked again. According to the bank's records, a substantial transfer had already been completed. The authorization appeared valid, and every required security check had been successfully verified. Emma searched through her banking history, hoping to find an explanation. Instead, she found a transaction she had never seen before. There were no warning messages, no failed security checks, no obvious signs that anything had gone wrong. The system had accepted every step of the transaction as legitimate. To the bank's security systems, everything appeared perfectly normal. What troubled Emma most wasn't that the money was gone. It was the possibility that someone had learned enough about her digital identity to make an unauthorized transaction appear completely authentic. For Emma Brooks, this wasn't simply a missing transfer. It was the beginning of a carefully planned deception, one designed to exploit confidence instead of breaking security. And the investigation had only just begun. That evening, Emma refused to believe the transfer was simply a mistake. Every document, every email, and every transaction became part of a puzzle she was determined to solve. The more she searched, the more questions appeared. Nothing looked unusual, until one transaction demanded a second look. She reviewed every available record, hoping to find the moment everything changed. The transfer appeared completely legitimate. Every security checkpoint had accepted it.
Start by documenting everything. Small details often become the most important evidence. I don't even know where to begin.
Then she remembered the files from the early years of the business partnership. One page immediately caught her attention. Trust is built over years, but sometimes it only takes one decision to break it.
This wasn't random. Someone knew exactly where to look.
The answers weren't hidden in the bank, they were hidden in the past. Emma returned to the earliest records of the company. Long before success, there had been handwritten agreements, shared responsibilities, and complete trust. One document immediately stood out, not because of what it said, but because of who had signed it. One familiar name appeared again and again throughout the company's history.
Marcus.
For years, Marcus Hale had been more than a business partner. He had been someone Emma trusted with decisions that shaped the future of their company. The more Emma reviewed the records, the more unusual details began to emerge.
Patterns tell stories. Let's focus on the timeline before we reach any conclusions.
Everything points somewhere. I just can't see where yet.
When the events were placed in order, something became impossible to ignore. The transfer wasn't an isolated event. It had been carefully prepared long before the money ever moved. The investigation had uncovered its first real direction, but the truth was still waiting.
It's time to stop asking what happened and start asking who planned it.
Many financial investigations begin by establishing a clear timeline. Organizing documents, communications, and transaction records chronologically can help reveal patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed.
By the following morning, Emma had transformed scattered documents into a single timeline. Every transaction, email, and meeting was now arranged in chronological order.
This timeline is interesting. The transaction wasn't spontaneous.
Someone planned every step.
It appears to have been prepared well in advance.
Someone planned every step. Attention shifted from the transaction itself to something even more important: who had legitimate access. The partnership agreement revealed years of shared responsibilities, shared approvals, and shared trust. Success had been built together. Important financial decisions were once made side by side.
Evidence is strongest when it tells a consistent story. Avoid assumptions. Let the facts guide every conclusion. Then that's exactly what we'll do.
One detail continued to appear throughout the records. By itself, it meant very little. Together with everything else, it became difficult to ignore.
I don't want to believe this, but I can't ignore it anymore.
Sometimes the hardest part of an investigation isn't finding evidence. It's accepting where that evidence leads.
For the first time, Emma wasn't searching for answers. She was preparing to confront them. The evidence was no longer pointing toward a possibility. It was pointing toward a person. Financial investigations often depend on careful documentation rather than dramatic discoveries. A clear timeline, preserved records, and verified information can help separate facts from assumptions. 2 days later, a private meeting was arranged. The business owner wasn't looking for an argument, only the truth.
You sounded concerned. What's this meeting about?
I finally understand what happened.
Weeks of investigation had transformed scattered information into a clear sequence of events.
Every approval, every access record leads back to the same period.
That doesn't prove anything.
The room became unusually quiet. Sometimes silence reveals more than words.
We independently verified every record. The timeline is consistent.
I wanted another explanation, but I can't ignore the evidence anymore.
For the first time since the investigation began, the path forward was clear. Some losses cannot be erased, but every difficult truth becomes the first step toward rebuilding. The investigation had answered one question, but an even bigger challenge was only beginning. The story is fictional, but the lesson is practical. Financial investigations depend on verified evidence, not assumptions. Keep records organized, review important transactions regularly, and seek professional guidance when something doesn't seem right. Several weeks later, life began moving forward. Some losses could not be undone, but valuable lessons had already been learned. The company introduced stronger financial controls, independent approval procedures, and regular account reviews.
Security isn't built on one system. It's built on consistent habits.
Then we'll make those habits part of our culture.
The experience changed the company, but it also made it stronger. Trust remains one of the most valuable assets in business. Protecting it requires preparation, transparency, and continuous attention. Although this story is fictional, the risks it explores are inspired by real financial challenges. Small habits can make a significant difference. Review financial accounts regularly. Separate approval responsibilities whenever possible. Keep secure backups of important records and seek qualified professional advice if something doesn't seem right. The greatest protection isn't technology alone, it's awareness, preparation, and informed decisions. Every story on Quantora AI is designed to educate through fictional storytelling. We hope today's episode encourages you to ask better questions, recognize potential risks, and make informed decisions. If you found this documentary helpful, consider sharing it with someone who values financial awareness. Fiction can entertain, but it can also prepare us to recognize real-world risks.